JBN, we keep you informed. Taxi driver on the run for 6 months caught in St. Elizabeth. The taxi operator, who was named as a person of interest in January and a suspect in the hit-and-run incident of an on-duty policeman at the intersection of Trafalgar Road and Worthington Avenue in Kingston on Thursday, January 23, has been captured after 6 months on the run. The man, who was operating taxi services in another parish, was captured in St. Elizabeth on Saturday, July 11, following his involvement in another hit-and-run. According to the police, arrangements are now being made for him to be interviewed in the presence of his attorney, after which charges will be laid. Meanwhile, motorists are being reminded that it is an offense to disobey the lawful instructions of the police. Additionally, owners of taxis are being encouraged to do proper background checks on prospective drivers before employing them. St. James businessman shot dead. The St. James police are probing the death of a businessman who was shot dead at his business establishment in Norwood by an unknown assailant Friday night. The dead man was identified as Jordan Wilson, also called Nick, of Norwood in the parish. Reports are that shortly after 9 p.m., Wilson and friends were playing dominoes at a bar he operates in the community when he was pounced upon and shot multiple times. The gunman escaped on foot. Wilson was subsequently taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. No motive has been established for his killing. Wilson's killing came within 6 hours of the shooting death of 37-year-old Shadrach Findlay, who was attacked as he walked along Orange Street, Montego Bay, and shot multiple times. He died on the spot. A wheelchair-bound man was also shot and injured during that attack. 45,000 citizens to benefit from $528 million water projects. The Rural Water Supply Limited, RWSL, is spending an additional $528 million on potable water infrastructure projects this financial year to benefit 45,000 citizens. This was disclosed by a minister with a portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vass, as he provided an update on the government's water initiatives and drought management response during a virtual briefing on Wednesday, July 8. Vass informed that the budget for the agency has been increased over the past financial year in an effort to address drought and chronic water shortage in the rural non-utility service areas of Jamaica. He noted that the RWSL is tackling these challenges through the installation of minor water supplies and wayside tanks, catchment tank rehabilitation, and rainwater harvesting, particularly in schools. These projects utilize, where appropriate, solar or renewable energy, and in the case of schools, water-saving equipment. Some 63,000 residents are expected to benefit from these projects, Vass said. He noted that for the current financial year, a major wayside black tank program is underway to immediately address drought-stricken communities. One of 3 alleged truck thieves arrested. 25-year-old Junior Facey, a truck driver of Bellevue Heights in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, was arrested and charged with several offenses involving a stolen motor truck. He used to face the St. Andrew Parish Court on Wednesday, July 15. Allegations are that on April 14, Facey was among 3 men who allegedly stole a flatbed motor truck that was parked on Agley Park Road, Kingston 10. It is further alleged that Facey then proceeded to sell the motor vehicle to another man. The police said thorough investigations by detectives at the Halfway Tree Criminal Investigations Branch, CIB, led to the recovery of the vehicle. Facey was later pointed out in an identification parade and is subsequently charged with simple larceny, conspiracy to commit simple larceny, and obtaining money by false pretense. The police said investigations are ongoing to bring the other 2 culprits to justice. Clarendon man nabbed in US $9,000 larceny trick. The police are warning business operators to be vigilant when doing cash transactions, especially those involving foreign exchange with members of the public. This advice follows the arrest and charge of 52-year-old Kenroy Williams of a Maypen, Clarendon address with larceny by trick. Police reports indicate that on June 22, Williams allegedly visited a business establishment on Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, offering to sell the owner US $9,000. According to the police, Williams was given over $1 million Jamaican dollars in cash. However, He reportedly switched the parcel of cash he handed to the owner before leaving. Upon his departure, the businesswoman discovered that only one US $100 note along with 60 US $1 notes were inside the stock, the police said. A report was made to the police and Williams was subsequently arrested. He was later pointed out on an identification parade and charged. He is expected to appear in court soon. Men seeking compensation from government for false imprisonment. 4 men who had a murder charge hanging over their heads for more than a decade before being acquitted are seeking compensation for the pain and the suffering they went through as they waited to gain their freedom. The men, 37-year-old Damian Crossdale, 41-year-old Kimberly Cooper, 42-year-old Carlos Howard, and Leslie Nugent, say their lives will never be normal as they have daily flashbacks of the ordeal and now have difficulty finding jobs. They were arrested and charged in 2002 and languished in custody for 5 years before they were granted bail. They were set free after the so-called eyewitness admitted to a prosecutor on the day of the trial in June 2018 that she did not witness the shooting incident of 16-year-old Delroy Lawrence at York Street, Franklin Town, East Kingston, in December 2001. Last week, each of the men filed a claim in the Supreme Court seeking damages for false arrest, malicious prosecution, loss of income, aggravated damages, and exemplary damages. They are claiming that the case was not properly investigated. It was prosecuted without reasonable and probable cause, and they were prosecuted on woefully contrived charges for the offense of murder. The claim also outlines numerous beatings and injuries the men said they received at the hands of the police and correctional officers. These cases represent one of the darkest sides of the administration of justice, stated Attorney at Law Hugh Wildman, who is representing the men. It was inconceivable that these men could be incarcerated for so long on the discredited evidence of a purported eyewitness, when based on the forensic evidence, it was manifestly clear that the witness did not see what she purported to have seen. Queen's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson was instrumental in the release of the men, giving free legal service when she became aware of the men's plight. She said that 8 years after the murder, the relative who identified the body stated that the alleged eyewitness was not being truthful. The relative, who was an aunt of the deceased, was speaking out and saying that the prosecution's main witness was lying because she was at work and did not witness the shooting. The defense then insisted that the relative who identified the body should come to court, said Nita Robertson. She said that it was the insistence of the defense that really led to the witness admitting that she was lying. The attorney also noted that the post-mortem report contradicted the manner in which the witness said the deceased was shot. It really pained my heart to see the men hugging up each other and crying each time they were brought to court and the case was put off, shared Nita Robertson. This saying, "it is human to err," did not pay off for Crossdale. When he made a mistake with one of his court dates in 2010, he outlined in an interview last week. When the other accused called me to find out why I was not at court, I turned up at the Home Circuit Court the next day and told the judge what had happened. Although I've never missed a court date before and had been obeying the conditions of my bail to report to the police station daily, to my horror and surprise, the judge revoked my bail, he recounted. I was then charged with absconding bail and taken before the St. Andrew Parish Court. I explained to the judge that I had made a genuine mistake, but the judge warned me that if I dragged out the matter, I would get a longer sentence. So out of fear, I pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 30 days in prison, he said. Crossdale is upset that despite his innocence, he now has a conviction and he doesn't have the means to have it expunged from his record. After spending 3 additional years behind bars, Crossdale was granted bail in 2013. He said that while in custody, he caught tuberculosis, and when he went home, his 2 daughters got it as well, forcing them to be hospitalized. The disease has left me with shortness of breath, and my daughters suffer frequently from asthma attacks, said Crossdale, who was employed as a construction worker before he was arrested. Cooper suffered from depression while in custody and had to be hospitalized. He said that because of the horrible and deplorable conditions in the facility and the fact that he was concerned about his girlfriend, who was pregnant at the time, my head just go on me. It was a hard time I went through at the Horizon Remand Center, said Cooper, who still has visible injuries from what he said were the result of being assaulted by a correctional officer. Noting that he has flashbacks and has not fully recovered from his ordeal, he added, "I was an innocent man helping my father to run his shop when I was arrested. I always tell my children and other young people that life behind bars is awful." Howard, who used to sell pet fish before he was arrested, said he suffers from short-term memory loss because a correctional officer used a baton to hit him on the head. "This case mashed up my life. I'll know my life can't come back," he stated, adding that the witness should have been punished by the court. "I'm mad, me nearly mad," Nugent said in June 2018, shortly after the prosecution offered no evidence against the men and the judge directed the jury to return a formal verdict of not guilty. The men were first tried in April 2005, but the jury failed to arrive at a verdict and a retrial was ordered. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.